Hi church, my name is Tony and the verse I have for you today is John 14:26, and it's just a snippet of that verse, which is the Holy Spirit will teach you everything and will remind you of everything I have told you. I've chosen that verse because when I came to think about today and what to share, I went back through my journal. I was reflecting on what God's been sharing with us, and I thought it'd be good to use that actually as the verse for today, which is to remind ourselves of the goodness of God. And that verse is more than that. It's not just reminding ourselves, but the Holy Spirit is the one who prompts us, brings to mind things that God has done, not just for us but for others, and through the Bible we see stories of God's miraculous workings, and we see how God can use people. But yeah, I was going through my journal. As some of you might know, my wife Ruth has been having cancer treatment for the last few months, and we've both been journaling and keeping record of scriptures and words that God's been giving us, both personally but also via others, which have been encouragements. And it's been really good just today just to go through that. It's been a hard week this last week, and just to remind ourselves of how God is in this with us, and it has been in this with us throughout and will continue to be with us. Some of you might know my own mum passed away from cancer about 10 years ago, and when that happened I had a kind of crisis of faith for a few years, where I was just fighting with God, just shouting at God, what's what, and asking lots of questions, and I came to a point after about 3 years, which is a long time I know, where I came to the conclusion that God is still God and God is still good. And when I came to that realisation, which I know is a simple realisation, obviously God is still God and God is still good, but when I kind of settled on that, almost instantaneously God brought back to mind then that he had been with me during that time, during my mum's cancer, and every story is different, and that's not what this story might be for us, but I remember when I was 15 my mum first got diagnosed with cancer, and at that time I prayed for more time. So my dad had left home, and we needed a parent, and my mum was well for another 15 years after that, which was amazing, and I'd forgotten I'd even asked that prayer. So there we are. So I got 15 years, and then very much I remembered God being with me during my mum's last few months, and that was an encouragement, that God is present, and that God always uses pain. Nothing goes to waste. He works all things together for good. So for today, I would just encourage you to, if you have a journal, to open it up, to look back, and to remind yourself of good things God has done. If you don't, just sit and just close your eyes in a quiet space and just let God and the Holy Spirit bring to mind what God has done for you over time, even over the last few days or weeks. And if you don't have one, a journal, then I'd encourage you to get one as well. I don't write in it every day, not even every week, but sometimes I'll have it'll be several times a day, and it's just good to just keep record of what God's saying, and things that are really moving in your life at any one point in time, and it's really good so you can reflect and have that record of God's goodness. Alright, so be blessed. Hope to see you all soon.